Namaste, Sasrikal, Namaskar, and welcome to Indian Girl Stateside, episode number 3. In today's episode, I will talk about common misconceptions foreigners have about India. Number 1, all Indians are vegetarian. While that may, on an average, be true, there are Indians that are non vegetarians. See, India is comprised of a myriad of religions, languages, and within those religions, for instance, Islam, and you have Hinduism, and then you have Christianity. There are Christians and Muslims and Hindus that actually do eat meat. We do love meat, and given that we are moving and we are in a modern society, not all Indians are vegetarian, though I must say, on an average, Indians do eat and are mostly vegetarian. Number 2, if you look at misconceptions or myths about Indians, all Indians are in or work in the IT sector. While that is not a true statement, I think a lot of the foreigners are exposed to Indians as being IT developers, software developers, or any sort of jobs, possess jobs related to those sectors. Simply because, Indians have traveled abroad basically to provide those services. I mean, if you look at Infosys, Cognizant, and all these outsourcing companies in India, there's a lot of folks that leave India that go abroad and basically work for companies like Cognizant and Infosys, for instance, and provide services in countries like United States of America, which is right here, or in Europe or any other place around the world. Number 3, all Indians walk bare feet. Well, that's not true. A lot of the misconceptions come from movies, be it Hollywood movies, be it other kinds of movies where they see a lot of poverty within the country. While it is a true statement, there are millions of people that live in poverty in India. Not everyone walks around with bare feet or without any shoes. There are people that obviously have good jobs that actually work and walk basically with shoes. Number 4, the fourth misconception about Indians is that the language of the Indians is Hindi. While Hindi is the national language, there are hundreds of languages out there within India. See, there's so many states, just like the United States of America, there are so many states within India, and within each state you have different languages. Let me give you an example. You have the state of Maharashtra. Their language over there is Marathi. For states like Gujarat, the language there is Gujarati. And for places such as let me see, Bengal, you have Bengali as a language that's commonly spoken there. A lot of Indians do know English because English has been taught in schools throughout the years and centuries, being that it was ruled by Britain, by the British. Number 5, the fifth misconception about India is that Indians are really, really smart and are good at math. While, I take that as a compliment, there are folks that not necessarily are good at math, or that may not necessarily be good at, at the spelling bee, for instance. There are folks that, though, we Indians do excel in spelling bee within the United States. And I think that could be a different episode in itself to tackle that issue. I'm curious myself as to why are there so many Indian kids that actually excel in the spelling bee competitions. Well, let's just put that aside for now before I go off on a tangent. Well, Indians are good at math. Some of them are not. I mean, you have great artists, that are good at the arts. that may not be good at math. I've known folks along my way during my lifetime where math were really bad at math and they were Indians. So there's this whole mix of folks that you get within India. Misconception number 5. Well, I watched Slumdog Millionaire, and does everyone live that way in India? Well, Slumdog Millionaire or any such a movie is not the real reflection of what Indians are, and what they and how they live. I think that is a reflection of a certain population in India of how people live, and it actually is, in my opinion, Slumdog Millionaire is a good movie. But it's not the entire truth. There are people that live in communities that live, there you have a rich class, you have an upper middle class, you have a middle income class, then you have a lower income class. So you have different classes of people that live there. So Slumdog Millionaire is not necessarily the best reflection of what India is all about. A good way to learn more about India is through, you can go visit different websites. You can go and read books about India. That'll definitely open your eyes about the culture, about how people live. The 6th myth about India is that, are there cows that walk on streets? Well, that is true. Cows do walk on streets, and it's not a myth. It is reality, where in some cities, you go in the cities and you walk in the streets and there are cows. The reason why cows are on streets is because in Hinduism, cows are revered as being as sacred. Because in the ancient India, cows were supposed to be givers of milk, meaning food, which is important for life in ancient India. Hence, tradition has brought it up forth even to this modern day and age, where you do have cows that actually live and walk on streets, and therefore even for now, killing cows or harming cows is considered a sin. But once again, there are folks that believe in that, there's folks that don't believe in that. These were the most common myths or / misconceptions that I could come across in reviewing and reading different websites and through personal experience. If you have any myths or misconceptions that you would like me to talk about, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to discuss it within these episodes. Once again, thank you so much for listening to Indian Girl Stateside. I hope that you're able to join us, and please do subscribe. Thank you so much.